He was listening in on that now infamous Ukraine call, and today the White House's top Ukraine expert told impeachment investigators that he and others on the National Security Council repeatedly raised concerns about the president's push for investigations into the Bidens in 2016 election interference. Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman told lawmakers that he felt a sense of duty to report the call, which he worried could undermine U.S. national security. He also said that National Security Advisor John Bolton and Russia Advisor Fiona Hill both warned EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland to stop pushing for the investigations, which directly contradicts Sondland's testimony from earlier this month. The president tweeted this morning. Supposedly, according to the corrupt media, the Ukraine call concerned today's Never Trumper witness. Was he on the same call that I was? Can't be possible. Please ask him to read the transcript of the call. Witch hunt. And on Fox News, Laura Ingraham went even further in attacking Vindman's credibility.
Here we have a U.S. national security official who is advising Ukraine while working inside the White House, apparently against the president's interest, and usually they spoke in English. Isn't that kind of an interesting angle on this story?
I find that astounding, and some people might call that espionage.
It was far enough to make even some Republicans fight back.
Questioning the dedication to country of people like Mr. Vindman, Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. It is shameful to question their patriotism, their love of this nation, and we should not be involved in that process.
At the same time, Democrats are finally getting ready for a full House vote to formalize the impeachment inquiry on Thursday, in which many Republicans, including the one you just heard from, say is too little, too late.
They're now attempting to sort of put a cloak of legitimacy around this process by saying they're going to bring it to a vote on the floor. They can't fix it. The process is broken.
This resolution signals that there will be a public hearing. It signals a shift where people will start to learn what is so concerning about the president's conduct.
Joining me to discuss, former state treasurer, Republican turned independent, Trump supporter Joe Malone. Joe, it's good to see you. Along with former Democratic candidate for lieutenant governor, Quentin Palfrey. Too long, Quentin. It's good to see you as well. So you were in politics a long time. You know, when you can't attack the message, you attack the messenger. Trump's favorite TV station, Trump himself calling him a never Trumper, basically saying that a guy serving in the military has a partisan agenda. Liz Cheney got it right, didn't she? This is shameful, isn't it?
The battle down in D.C. is such that all of these things are being lobbed back and forth. The Democrats start with the premise that 2020, they can't beat him at the ballot box, so they got to pound him down through all of this impeachment talk. And I think it's going to backfire at the end of the day.
Well, can I try one more time?
It is a three-ring circus.
But that's not, well, I'm not talking about the other two rings. I'm talking about this ring. What do you think about the President of the United States accusing him, a colonel in the military who has a Purple Heart, of being a never Trumper? And then all this Fox News stuff. It's disgraceful, isn't it?
Again, I see the same thing, what they do with the Attorney General of the United States. They're saying basically anything he says, he's corrupt and so forth. That's what Washington has become, is everybody rips each other apart.
So he's saying a pox on all their houses. The Democrats are just as bad as these Republicans are. No? Yes?
No, I think that it's clear that the facts on this Ukraine inquiry are so strong, and the Democrats are systematically building a case against the president, that the Republicans on Capitol Hill are just attacking the process. They're going to their old playbook of character assassination, even of a Purple Heart recipient, in order to try and distract from what is clearly a case for impeachment.
You know, I literally, whether it was Taylor last week on the quid pro quo, the acting ambassador to Ukraine, or Vindman today, I never hear, as Quentin said, a criticism of the substance. The Republicans never say, well that testimony.
What they are saying is, look at the transcript. And they're saying, you know, all these people are jumping in with their opinions. The transcript.
Did you read the transcript?
Yeah.
Isn't that really all one needs to know? By the way, the Democrats say you don't even need a quid pro quo. Just seeking assistance from a foreign government in a United States election is an impeachable offense.
Jim, I get a kick out of everything that Biden's son did. Seems to be a non-issue, and you hear all the
investigated.
media. Yeah, it's been investigated, and maybe it wasn't legal. There should be a law against it, but that is slime, because here is a guy whose son is involved over there, and he says, I want to be involved.
Is it legal for the President of the United States to seek assistance from a foreign government in a federal election? Yes or no?
And the whole case
is it legal?
There was no quid pro quo.
Is it legal?
There was no quid
is
pro quo.
Is it legal even if there was no? You can seek assistance from a foreign government in a United States election? Something of value?
Because he said, we want to get after the corruption. And then 3 sentences later, he said, what's going on with Biden in that situation?
Can we talk about the Democrats for a second? I read very quickly before we came out this resolution out of the Rules Committee, chaired by Massachusetts' own Jim McGovern, I should say, which seems to be giving due process rights to the other side. But obviously, the proof is in the pudding. I assume you would agree, whatever rights the minority party Democrats had, let's say in the Clinton impeachment, question witnesses, cross-examine witnesses, present their own, every one of those should be afforded the Republicans. Is that not fair?
Absolutely, that's fair. But I think that at the beginning of an inquiry, in any kind of a context, it does make sense to interview witnesses separately, and that's what they've done. And now they're building a case using the procedures that they've put forward in this
And the Republicans,
resolution.
Isn't this vote on Thursday exactly what all the Republicans, Joe, said they wanted, and they don't know how to accept yes for an answer? Yes, you're going to get your vote.
So on that front, it is moving toward a procedure that is the appropriate procedure. After a long stretch here where Republicans have not been treated the way Democrats were treated during the Clinton...
Can I do my best imitation of Joe Malone?
Go ahead.
How about the Benghazi hearings when Trey Gowdy held those behind closed doors because he said it's the only efficient way to get testimony?
That was not.
That was okay then.
That was not the impeachment of a president. Which there aren't too many issues that are more important than that. And B, you have a clear precedent going back to Clinton and going back to Nixon.
You know, if I were a Democratic activist, I'd be really nervous about what lies ahead. The good news is it's public, which I think addresses the Republican criticism, whether it's legit or not, it does. Two, I think the public wants an open process. Well, I'll just play a little bit of Jerry Nadler attempting to control the judiciary hearing when Corey Lewandowski, who was also disgraceful, was testifying. Here it is.
I am very troubled that the White House counsel sitting behind you are preventing you from answering these very basic questions that go to the heart of the president's conduct we are investigating.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion. Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
You will wait for your motion until I finish this.
Point of order, then.
Not only...
Point of order has got to be recognized.
Not in the middle of...
Yes, it does.
I think it's fair to say he had no control of this hearing. I think the opening statement by Adam Schiff at his first hearing was a disgrace, that mobster, whatever that thing was he was trying to do. Do you have confidence that these two guys, whoever does whatever part of this process, have the ability to convince the American people that they are going to be fair in this procedure?
I do, because I think that they've done the factual groundwork to build a case. And I also think that we should set aside the politics here and think for a moment about what's happening. We have a president of the United States who is asking a foreign government to interfere in a U.S. election, which we now have documentary proof took place. In fact, the president doesn't even deny it. Setting aside the politics of that, we as a country need to have those facts be aired, and I think this is the right way to do it.
Every single Never Trumper who called our radio show today, total random sample, said present the facts, do not move to impeachment, because there'll be no conviction in the Senate. It's going to help Trump get reelected. Don't do it. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I think that it's important that we impeach this president. I think it's important that there be a trial in the Senate. And I do
Even if there's no conviction?
Absolutely. I think that it's very likely that Mitch McConnell is not going to run a fair trial that's going to lead to...
Well, the Supreme Court justice runs the trial.
But I think that we are going to have a process in the Senate that's going to lead to a foregone conclusion. But even though we expect that that will not lead to the conviction of the president, I think that the Constitution demands this vindication.
Only 15 seconds. Any Republicans going to step belly up to the bar and vote with the Democrats on Thursday? Quickly.
Why would they? There's no crime here, number one. Number two, 90% of the Republicans at the grassroots level support this president. They think he's doing a great job. Those people aren't going to buck that trend. Absolutely.
Quentin, it's good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Joe
Pleasure,
Malone,
Jim.
nice to see you as
Pleasure
well.
to
Thanks
see you,
so
Jim.
much.
Same
Nice
here.
handshake.